Hello, we will be talking about the design considerations for specially abled on streets and in parks through the case of CG Road and Parimal Gardens in Ahmedabad. Designers tend to create spaces that are either accessible or inclusive, showcasing how they are catering to visually and physically impaired. However, the main aim of designing a space should be to make it universally accessible so that it is usable by all without the need of any adaptations. Let's have a look at the scenario of universally accessible public spaces in India.
More than 2.1% of Indians suffer from various kinds of disabilities. However, these numbers are high underestimates. Besides this, people with aging populations, women, children, and many others with various ailments and diseases, if you group together, form a significantly large number of dependent population across the world. The question is, do our built environments, social environments include them? And what can we do? How do we design? How do we understand this complexity?
Talking specifically about Gujarat, it accounts to approximately 4% of the total disabled population of India. This is almost 10 lakh people, out of which 2.2 lakh people are from the city of Ahmedabad. The city of Ahmedabad is tier 1 city with a spatial extent of 464 square kilometer. Ahmedabad is being known for its current street design projects such as CG Road, Happy Street and Border Bay Street. The city has about 250 public parks. Out of the 464 square kilometer, public parks make up only 1.39 square kilometer. Hence, public parks account to only 0.3% of the city. To understand the need of creating universally accessible spaces in the city of Ahmedabad, the street design of CG Road, along with recently designed Parimal Garden, is critically reviewed. This is done through three stages. Firstly, understanding the issues through experience and site study. Secondly, interviewing people facing difficulties with the design. And lastly, providing solutions through guidelines and case studies. Talking specifically about CG Road, the design of the street has been modified twice. Once in the year 1994 and then in the year 2020. The current design aims to be more pedestrian friendly than the earlier. However, none of the designs talk about the universal accessibility, especially for the people on wheelchair and for the people with visual impairment. To review this better, a stretch of CG Road from Panchavati Junction to Parimal Garden Junction is considered. The reasons for selecting this stretch is because it lies between two major crossroads of the city and are known for its commercial edge on one side and city-level park on the other side. Let's have a look at what the people in the city have to say about their experience of CG Road.
यहाँ हमारी एक सहेली शिफ्ट हुई है, उसके मिलने आए थे तो फिर सोचा चलो चलते चलते टहलते टहलते चलते हैं, नया लुक भी देख लेते हैं।
थोड़ी ये तो प्रॉब्लम है कि भाई क्रॉस करने के लिए थोड़ी परेशानी, व्हीकल है तो पूरा घूम के जाना पड़ता है, क्योंकि
वॉक करने का भी मतलब अगर रखा हो तो भी है पर बहुत कम है।
जैसे लोगों को चलना भी अच्छा लग रहा है कि अभी अच्छा बना दिया, चलने के लिए अलग बनाया, गाड़ियों के लिए अलग बनाया, इसलिए कोई तकलीफ नहीं है, लोग बैठ सकते हैं, आज आप बच्चे भी खेल सकते हैं, कोई तकलीफ नहीं है, साधन नहीं निकलता।
अभी तो सब कुछ पैराडाइज ही है।
Coming to what is the need for universal accessibility. It is about achieving good design so that people can access, use, and understand the environment to the greatest extent and in the most independent and natural manner possible, without the need for adaptations or specialized solutions. Firstly, we are looking at the vehicular environment in CG Road. The main components of accessible vehicular environments are 1. Accessible bus stops for easy access to public spaces. 2. Designated disabled parkings as per standard given. 3. Drop-off points. And 4. Adequate signages for all. For the selected stretch, as we experience that, accessing public transport on CG Road is difficult as there is no provision of access ramps for the footpaths and no tactile paving for wayfinding or any audio cues for the blind people. The distance between the stops is approximately 250 meters. As per the Universal Design Guidelines, the bus stop should have 1. A proper tactile paving which leads to bus access points along with the audio system announcing the next bus for blind people. 2. The curb cut with gentle slope for wheelchair access. 3rd, the seating area should be spacious and have interim spaces for wheelchair. Next major concern is the parking spaces. As the selected stretch has the commercial edge and mixed-use buildings, there is usually a high footfall. To cater that, proper parking spaces for disabled is not provided. At times, there is a hindrance for opening the car doors as well. As per the standard parking guidelines, for perpendicular parking, a center access aisle of 5 feet should be provided for wheelchair movement with proper signages. The parking should be located to major entrances of the buildings. In case of parallel parking, the parallel access aisle of 1.5 meters should be provided along the face of the curb of footpath. Coming to the next point, pedestrian environment. The main components of the pedestrian environment are 1. The safe crossroads as well as the tabletop crossing wherever necessary for slow movement of vehicles, tactile tiles for guiding, ramps for the entry to footpaths with proper slope. 4. The adequate placed bollards with aligned tactile and wheelchair access gap. Looking at the four main squares in the complete stretch from Swastik Char Rasta to Girish Coldring Crossroad, 3. Panchwati Chowk and 4th Parimal Garden Junction. None of the crossroads are completely safe as the zebra crossings are faded, no provision of wayfinding for blinds, and bollards acting as an obstruction for wheelchair to pass. As we can see the existing condition of the crossroads, there are no proper signages or markings. This makes it inaccessible for disabled people to cross such junctions. Therefore, following the guidelines for designing crossroads, 1. All crossings should be well marked with tactile tiles in the center should be provided as the guiding tool. The crosswalks should be aligned as closely as possible with the pedestrian zone. Inconvenient deviations create an unfriendly pedestrian environment. The proper marking as per the standard should be done for zebra crossings and renewed timely. The curb ramp should be provided as per the standards. The interim curb extensions may be incorporated. Stop bars should be designed for pedestrian safety. Now let's have a look at the experience and problems faced by disabled people on CJ Road.
ये आपको पता होगा ना, ये नई बनी है अभी फिलहाल में, थोड़ी साल पहले। ये सीजी रोड जो बना है पूरा फुटपाथ बना है उन्होंने नया, और सब बोलार्ड डाले हैं। तो उसके बारे में क्या कहना है आपको? उसको उसमें भी दिक्कत आता है, किधर रैंप नहीं है या आप जैसे बोल रहे हो कोई निशानी नहीं है पूरे सड़क में किधर भी?
नहीं है, नहीं वो सबको कुछ पता ही नहीं चलता है।
तो आपको उधर परेशानी आती है?
फुटपाथ पे तो चल लेते हैं,
हाँ,
उसमें तो कोई एतराज।
पर अगर कोई शॉप में एंटर करना है तो आपको कैसे समझेगा?
हाँ, वो नहीं समझता।
वो नहीं समझ पाता,
सिंबल ही नहीं होता।
सिंबल नहीं होता, बराबर ठीक है।
कोई ऐसा सिंबल हो जाए ना कि यहाँ फुटपाथ खत्म होती है,
हाँ
फिर यहाँ से ये शॉपिंग सेंटर शुरू होता है, जो भी है वो।
क्या रास्ता क्रॉस करते वक्त दिक्कत होता है?
होता है।
आप अकेले क्रॉस करते हो या कोई आपको मदद
मैं
करता है?
कभी मैं क्रॉस वॉक के लिए ज़्यादा ये भी ऐसा है कि करने जैसा ही नहीं जाता।
हाँ वो भी है। और आपको पूरा मतलब आपको थोड़ा विजन है या पूरा नहीं है?
मेरे को दिन रात का पता चल जाता है।
चल जाता है। चलिए।
तो आप रोज अकेले भी घूमते हैं? अकेले तो आपको तकलीफ होती है ये रोड पे वगैरह?
ये रोड पर तकलीफ होती है, यहाँ पे आने जाने में दिक्कत पड़ती है।
को ये गवर्नमेंट ने दिया है या ये आपका खुद
एक
का?
गवर्नमेंट ने दिया, कायदा कानून की गाड़ी।
ओके, तो ये आपको उन्होंने दिया।
After hearing the problems faced by disabled people, we now look at the example of ITI Road, Pune. It sets an example how streets can be universally designed for all, like placing of bollards with wheelchair access of 900 mm to 1500 mm. Proper tactile marking is given along the footpath and additionally trees are aligned with seatings around them. As we can see, principles of universal design are not individual elements. They all are interconnected like the distribution of zones on streets into furnishing zone, pedestrian zone, and frontage zone. Accessible curb ramps and tactile surface should be provided. For safe connections, corner curbs and crosswalks with table crossings like those on Happy Street in Ahmedabad can be designed. Clear signages with audio to guide all the people on the street are necessary. Spaces can be made aesthetic as well as accessible by placemaking. Security of the space can be maintained by activity generators and eye-on-street concept by ensuring adequate lighting. Surface quality and material change to ensure they guide when there is a change in activity. All these factors cannot overlook the infrastructure of the space, therefore providing cross-slope for rain drains. Now analyzing the third component, street elements. The street element comprises of mainly street furniture like benches, dustbins, pollards, and tree pits. For safety, proper lighting are to be ensured. On CG Road, as we can see, they have provided benches, but they do not have backrest and are of a slippery material. This makes it unsafe for elderly and disabled people. Additionally, no designated space is provided for wheelchair near the seatings. Poles cause an obstacle for the blind due to no tactile marking on the complete footpath. Therefore, to ensure proper placing of street elements, 1. The tree pit should be designed with curb and minimum of 1200 mm gap for wheelchair access and drainage gratings to be offset from the access route. A 900 mm square of firm paving beside a seat will enable a wheelchair user to sit alongside the other people. The material of the furniture should be anti-slippery. Other street elements like light pole, seatings, dustbins, and drinking fountain, etc. should be placed beyond the boundary of the access route. Dustbin should be at a height of 0.9 to 1.2 meter so that it is accessible for all. Also, the drinking fountain should be at the height of 0.85 to 0.9 meter. Let's now look at the analysis of Parimal Garden. It has become popular after its recent renovation. However, let's introspect if the design of the park is universally accessible. The main entry of the park is from the CG Road. However, due to the presence of revolving gate, here the people on wheelchair have to enter the park from the rear side entrance. Let's have the look at the experience of people with visual and physical impairment navigating through the park.
आप क्या बोल रहे हैं भैया लोग आप समझ रहे हो आया आप ऐसा बोले रास्ता लेके आ जाना सही में भी बताता हूँ ऐसा इस बारे में मेरा लेकिन थोड़ा क्या होता है कि जो स्ट्रेट होता है ना वो अच्छा रहता है ये जो है ना राउंड शेप जो होता है ना तो कोई भी जो बाउंड्रीज होती है वो सीधा नहीं रहती यहाँ पे देखो होता थोड़ा राउंड में जाता है राउंड में तो देखने वाले को तो पता पड़ जाएगा या तो ऐसा होना चाहिए कि दिव्यांगों को ध्यान में रख के भी कुछ ऐसा होना चाहिए कि यहाँ पे ये पार्क है ये सब पट्टी रखो कुछ या तो कुछ भी छोटा बनाओ कुछ ऐसा और क्या बोलते हैं इसको निशानी बना सकते हैं
As we saw people's experience in the park, it is an aesthetic design intervention, but it caters only to a certain section of the society. Hence, design of universally accessible parks can be done by adhering to specific guidelines. As per discussion with the people of the Blind People's Association in Ahmedabad, the entry ramps need to have a slope between 1 is to 18 to 1 is to 24 Indians. To understand the spaces in the park quickly, a tactile map with an audiovisual aid needs to be provided at the park's entrance. No separate entries should be designed to avoid exclusion of the disabled. Play equipment should be chosen keeping in mind wheelchair users and children with multiple disabilities. When we choose sensory play, we ensure that all children can play together. Even if a child is limited to one facility, he or she can play using the other one. Access ramp to restroom need to be designed similarly to entry ramps with a slope of 1 is to 20. Disabled-friendly washrooms need to have a maneuvering space of at least 900 mm radius for wheelchair. The broader idea of university design park should comply with the following principles, like connection to the street, clear identity of the space, providing options for all, and most importantly, movable seatings and trees and variety of locations with different activities. The idea of universal design needs to be prioritized while designing of spaces especially public places, and it should have an equitable distribution. That is, the design is useful and welcoming to people with various abilities. It should be flexible enough to accommodate a spectrum of individual preferences and abilities. At the same time, the size and space, that is, the design is approachable for people of various body types, postures, and mobilities. Thank you.